Oh man, The Conjuring was doing so well too. What up everybody, welcome to Trailer Park, the movie review show that focuses on the trailers of the movies. I'm your host, Richard Barlow, and this weekend, The Nun comes out. I went and got a look at it last night, so here's the review. Before we start, I'm going to do my best not to spoil anything, but just in case, here's your spoiler warning. So I didn't actually do a full review on the Nun trailer. It was part of our first Trailer Wars, as you may know. So it doesn't actually have a grade to compare this movie to, which is probably for the best because it might be embarrassed on how that turns out. Because if I had to give a grade to the trailer, even though it lost the Trailer Wars, I was still commending it, so I probably would have given it like a B somewhere in there. And like I said, in the Trailer Wars, all we got was a teaser trailer, so it was hard to give it a full grade. So let's start with one of my biggest problems of the movie. Like I said in the Trailer War, this trailer actually lost points because it didn't tell us much of the story, which is fine. It was a teaser trailer. It showed us creepy stuff, and that was it. And it told us that a girl was having visions of a nun and she was sent to Romania. But what I found out was the reason it didn't tell us the story is because there barely is a story. The little bit of the story that they told us in the trailer, that wasn't even true. Yeah, the girl was sent to Romania, but she wasn't having visions of a nun before she got there. She just had visions sometimes. The clip where she says, "I saw a nun," is at the convent in Romania. She saw a nun there.
What did you see?
I saw a nun.
It's just something that annoys me with spin-offs, and especially this one. It's clearly just a cash grab. They didn't have a story to tell. The Nun was creepy in The Conjuring 2, people liked it, so they made a spin-off story. But there wasn't enough content there to make a whole movie. It's just an empty shell with no real story, all because The Nun was something that they thought they could make money on.
The Defiler.
And you think maybe, at least if there's no story, there'd probably be some good scares in there, but there's not. You know, even my wife, who jumps at everything, she didn't really jump. There's 2 jump scares in the movie that actually work. And one we saw in the trailer, so it didn't have as much of an impact as it could have.
This way. Hello?
Yeah, it did a fine job of making kind of a creepy atmosphere and spooking you out that way. But ultimately, for a horror movie, it didn't bring the horror. I will say what I like about it is that it didn't have any false jump scares, because those are annoying and way overdone in horror movies. At no point did the tension build and then a cat ran across the screen and scared people, or something like that. Anytime there was a jump scare, or an attempt at a jump scare, because like I said, only 2 of them really worked, it was a legit scary thing, or something that should have been scary. There were really odd attempts at humor throughout this movie as well, which just kind of threw the whole thing off. It's not meant to be a comedy, but they kind of kept going for it, especially near the end when there really shouldn't be any comedy. When we're hitting the climax of the story, and they're throwing in little jokes, especially from the one character, Frenchie, and it just wasn't working. It took away from what little horror there already was. Also, that name, Frenchie, yes, it's just a nickname, but it really doesn't work in the movie. It kind of seems out of place. We have Father Burke, Sister Irene, and Frenchie. It just, whenever that name was said, it seemed out of place. The character of Frenchie I also found just to be trying too hard. Whether that was the writing or the actor, I don't know. But it just, you know, he tried to be cool, he tried to be suave, and it just seemed forced. There were a lot of things in the movie that just didn't make sense. They just kind of came out of there and they were put in just because the story needed it to be there. For instance, at one point the priest goes missing and he rings a bell and the main girl in it knows it's him that's ringing the bell, even though she doesn't even really know at that point that he's missing. And it doesn't say that she had a vision of him. Afterwards, she has a vision of exactly where he is. But at that point when he's ringing the bell, she was only wandering around and she hears the bell and she goes, "Father!" But she wouldn't know that that's him or that he is even in need of help right now. So that just, stuff like that just didn't work. It didn't make sense.
Let me out!
There's also something about the priest's past, which in one scene comes and haunts him, and that works. But then it just keeps popping up, and it's too much. After a while, we get it. He's haunted by that, but it doesn't make sense to keep happening. I think the biggest problem with this movie, though, and it really pisses me off whenever movies or TV shows do this, is they just spoon feed the audience the whole time. They have no faith that the audience is going to even have a little bit of intelligence to know themselves what's going on. But they also don't have faith in their franchise. They spell out everything that's already happened. At the beginning of the movie, there's almost like a previously on type thing where they're showing you clips from the other Conjuring movies to show you what's happened. They should just have faith that people saw those movies. If they're going to see this one, chances are they saw The Conjuring and they know what's going on. Also, for the most part, you don't need to see those movies to understand this movie, but mostly because there's nothing to understand about this movie. But it would work just as a standalone film if nobody knew those other things. Then at the end, they do tie it into the other movies, and I will admit it's kind of neat up until the point where they just start spoon-feeding you. They could have just left it at this one subtle hint that connects the other movies, and it would have been cool. So I looked at my wife, and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. But then it goes on for another 5 minutes explaining you how it fits in and why this is like a twist at the end. And so it just takes away from it. It's just annoying because, like I said, they don't trust their audience. They over-explain everything to you. And even the scenes where they're explaining the story, the exposition scenes, seem forced and boring. And there's really nothing that works about this movie. I can't find much good to say about it. The spoon-feeding really pisses me off. For a horror movie, the horror is not there. The acting's not great, but I think that's because the writing isn't great. There's lame attempts at humor, and the trailer kind of lied to us. Even though it was a teaser trailer and didn't really tell us anything, it was still a lie, and that's annoying. So I'm giving this movie a C-. That might even be too high for what it deserves, but you know, like I said, the creepy atmospheres were there. It did look nice. Honestly, I'd say don't spend your money on this one. Don't even spend your scene points if you can. Just wait till it's on Netflix. I wouldn't waste any money on this. So those are my thoughts. If you guys go see it and you enjoy it, please let me know. Let me know if you don't enjoy it or if you have any more points to make on how bad this movie is. Hopefully the winner of that Trailer Wars Halloween actually performs and is better than this movie. I'm sure it will be. As always, let me know in the comments what trailer you'd like me to review next. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when my videos come up. And their social media, I'm on Twitter at TrailerBarlow, or on Facebook and Instagram at Trailer Park Movie Reviews. All right, that's it for today. I will see everybody next week. Hey everybody, if you liked that video, then click here for another one. Or if you want to check out the trailer for the movie I was just talking about, then click here. Or you click on the Trailer Park logo, then your life's going to be changed forever.